So today we are talking about the 12 powers. We're talking about the power of strength and resilience. Unity's teaching of the 12 powers were initially referred to as the 12 powers of man. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, saw these powers as qualities that are innate within all humankind. And the development of these qualities would lead to living fully awake in the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Now, that's a big claim, and he set out to prove its validity. Over the course of the past several years, I have been looking at the 12 women who supported Jesus in the scriptures. I believe each of these women holds a power also that correlates to the male aspect of the power. As human beings, we have within us both male and female attributes. We are more prone or more dominant in one than the other. It is important that we bring balance into our lives, broaden our perspective, and own the non-dominant energy within us to bring us into wholeness. Unity is not the only spiritual tradition to teach about energy systems in the body and the effects of a balanced system has on our life. The others that I am aware of are that the Hindus have 7 chakras, the Buddhists have 4 chakras, and the Hopi tribe has 5 etheric centers. In Unity, we teach that each of the 12 powers is related to a location in the body and a color. And today I learned apparently there are symbols too. Last month, we talked about faith and hope. The disciple was Peter, and the woman was Mother Mary. The color that represents these powers is dark blue and is located in the center of the brain. We looked at how hope keeps faith alive. They work together in tandem and are listed as 2 of the 3 qualities in 1 Corinthians 13 that never end. This month, we will explore the power of strength with its yin or feminine counterpart as resilience. Strength is represented by the disciple Andrew, and resilience is represented by Mary Salome. The physical center for this power is the small of the back, and the color is light green. Let us begin by looking at Andrew and the power of strength. Andrew in the revealing word is defined as the energy of God, freedom from weakness, stability of character, power to withstand temptation, capacity to accomplish. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. All we think of when we think of strength. I know that I often go straight to the physical, brawny strength. Or simply the strength to do that which I would like to do in the moment, which can be as simple as take a hike or open a new jar. And this is definitely one expression of strength. One story I read about was about a mother who was an invalid, and she was sitting on the front porch in her wheelchair, and she was watching her son. He was repairing his car, and he had taken the tires off, and he had all propped up, and he was underneath the car, and the car began to move, and it fell, and she screamed. Her husband came running out, and he saw that the car had fallen down, and he ran over and he tried to pick it up, and to no avail. And so he ran off to get some help. He says, I'm going to go get some help. And as the mother was sitting there in her wheelchair, she thought to herself, if I don't do something, my son is going to die. And so she forced herself. She mustered the strength within her. She called upon that power of strength. And she stood up, and she slowly moved toward the car. And she got to the car and she lifted the car just enough for her son to be able to scoot out from under it. She called upon that strength within her that is beyond what she thought or would normally be capable of. She was faced with multiple physical liabilities that normally would keep her from doing any of that. Knowing her son was in trouble gave her the inner strength to stand up and the physical strength to lift the car. Let us look at strength from the emotional standpoint. When we have feelings that arise with a vengeance within us, it is the power of strength that provides us a moment to breathe and to respond rather than reacting. It is our emotional strength that empowers us to be aware of and allow the circumstances to be what they are, knowing we cannot control everything. This is where saying the serenity prayer comes in. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It takes tremendous inner strength sometimes to keep our mouths closed when we see someone doing something we think may harm them. There's a Buddhist practice of equanimity. And in that practice, you think of someone and say, may I accept things as they are? I care about you, but I cannot alleviate your suffering. Emotional strength is about knowing that we can help, what we can help with and what we cannot help with. What is someone else's to walk through? To know the difference, we must be willing to tap into our inner strength and ask, is this mine to do? Is it appropriate for me to give assistance at this time? We run into trouble when we think that we are strong enough to alleviate the pain of everyone we meet. We risk becoming codependent or emotionally exhausted and burned out. The next stage of strength is spiritual strength. Spiritual strength is the strength to practice spiritual principles in all areas of our lives. It is the strength to see the world from a point of inclusion instead of seeing them as separate and wrong, or higher or lower on the ladder of success, intelligence, spirituality, or any other way that we compare ourselves to others. Even when we compare ourselves to someone and we come out equal, someone else will come along and they will not be on the same level. Whenever we see the world from this point of view, we see the world with limited eyes. Spiritual strength is the power to be able to stand tall in who we are while allowing and even being curious about others. The feminine or yin aspect of strength is resilience. Resilience is represented by Mary Salome. Mary Salome is understood to be represented by a few names in the Gospels. She's thought to be the mother of the sons of Zebedee, and also referred to as Mother Mary's sister. One myth has her as the midwife at the birth of Jesus. She is mentioned as one of the women who supported Jesus of her substance. In Luke 8, she goes with Mary Magdalene on Sunday morning to the tomb to anoint Jesus's body. Metaphysically, Salome means whole, sound, perfect, complete, finished, peaceful, friendly, enveloped, clothed. She represents the soul clothed in thoughts of wholeness, soundness, love, peace, and truth. So let's take a few minutes to check out resilience and see how resilience plays out physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Physically, resilience is the ability to keep on keeping on. Resilience is the ability to have multiple interests and to make space in our life for them. Resilience is being able to be of assistance for someone else and your own responsibilities too. Physical resilience is making a commitment and sticking with it. Emotionally, resilience is the ability to know what we are feeling and be willing to take a look at the message that is coming to us. So often when something happens and we want to create other in our life by judging someone as different, better or worse, smarter or less intelligent, it is because that person is mirroring to us a belief, emotional state, thought, action, or way of being that we too have exhibited in our life that we don't like. Maybe we react when someone cuts us off in traffic. What is it that we are really upset about? Do we feel as if they took something from us? Do we feel they are going to get there faster than us and that's just not okay? Do we believe that they are being rude and not considering our feelings or our needs? These are opportunities for us to look at what we might want to take a look at in the way of a belief that we are holding or how we might meet our own needs in the moment. Resilience in this sense is the strength to sit with and be willing to consider doing something different or seeing the situation with new eyes. I heard a story once of a man who was driving down the road and he's just driving down the road and this car shoots out from a fast food restaurant and cuts him off and almost causes an accident and just really startles him. And his anger just rises up in front of him. And, how dare that person be so rude and so dangerous? Doesn't he know that he could cause an accident? As he was berating this driver in his mind, they came up to the driveway to the hospital, and the driver in front of him pulled in. We never know what's going on for someone else. They may be being as resilient and strong as they can in the moment. Another time, it may be one of us pulling out in front of a car because we have an emergency. Spiritual resistance is the ability to be with what is happening without the need to control or change it. Spiritual resilience gives us the ability to hear what another has to say, even when we disagree or they disagree with us. And we can do that without changing our mind or the need to change theirs. Spiritual resistance is the power to walk in the darkness without getting lost. Spiritual resistance has within it a power of curiosity. I wonder what is unfolding here. I wonder how God is showing up in this situation. Is there a way that I can open my mind to learn more and maybe shift my beliefs to see with a broader perspective? There is another aspect to this, and that is the thoughts that run around in our mind about us. Judgments that we make about a mistake that we made or something that we inadvertently did that hurt someone else. Resilience is the power that enables us to have compassion for ourselves as well as others. Spiritual strength and resilience are the powers that push us forward. They have the capacity to stretch us beyond our limited ideas of what we can do. What are those thoughts of limitation that hold us back from reaching our desired goals? What are the thoughts that limit our vision of what we can achieve, give, or receive? These are questions that are well worth asking ourselves. Taking some time and sitting with them and contemplating what our lives might look like if we engaged our spiritual strength, our spiritual backbone, to live life more fully, joyously, and prosperously. Strength and resilience are developed through the power of spiritual study, meditation, contemplation, and prayer. Spiritual study is when we engage in a class or read a book that challenges our perceptions and leads us to think about life from another viewpoint and or a deeper spiritual understanding. Meditation is sitting in the silence. We may follow our breath, using a word or a phrase to keep us focused. It is in the silence that we sit in the presence of God and allow God to be God in our lives. We listen for that inner voice of wisdom and to feel that inner power of strength. Contemplation is taking a situation or a thought into that inner space and to ask the wisdom within to reveal more. For instance, someone asked me to do something and I'm unsure whether it's really mine to do. I may be wanting to ask for clarity or assistance. It's not asking a deity out there, but the spirit within. The spirit that is always available because it is always right here. We open ourselves and listen. Contemplation of a question or a spiritual principle is often a process and done more than once, each time gaining new insights and deeper understandings that empower us to live our fullest life. Prayer is asking or having a conversation with spirit. For instance, we may be asking the power of strength to assist us to forgive someone that we are having trouble forgiving. Or the prayer may be a denial or affirmation that will take us to that new level. It is imperative that we are empowered by strength to take the needed steps forward. It is this power of strength that enables us to stretch beyond our current circumstances and perceptions into the realm of infinite possibilities that lie before us. So right now, what I want to do is I want to invite us to take a few minutes and engage that power of strength through the power of meditation and contemplation. So I invite you to breathe. Just become aware of the breath. Become aware of where the breath comes in and how it goes out. And I invite you to follow that breath all the way down to the small of your back. Feel the strength in the small of your back. It is this part of your back that holds you up. It is strong and has within it all the vital elements that nourish it. As you gently focus on this area, you notice a green light. This green light is emanating from the small of your back. And it begins to gently grow. And as it grows, it flows down your legs and into the ground. The green light grounds you and receives energy from the earth. And this earth energy flows up and pauses at your center of strength. And as this energy is integrated into the green light begins to expand even more. It flows up your torso, through your solar plexus, your heart, into your shoulders, and down your arms. Continuing to expand, it goes up into your throat and into your mind. Bringing strength to the power of your voice and strength to your thinking. And then this energy flows down your spine and returns to the strength center. You are filled with green, radiant light. And I invite you to imagine that light flowing out into the world. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. And just allow that strength to build and to continue to flow out. And then bringing our conscious awareness back to our own hearts. If there is an area in our lives that we would like to have empowered by the power of strength, we hold that in this sacred space. We may be asking, is this mine to do? Or we may be asking for assistance with forgiveness or seeing life from a new perspective. Once again, bringing our awareness back to our breath. Feeling our breath come in and go out. We affirm the scripture from Ephesians 3:16. I pray that according to the riches of his glory, he may grant that you may be strengthened in your inner being with power through his Spirit. And so it is. Amen.